Welcome to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I'm your host, WIZE, and I'm excited. My next guest is a mom, an entrepreneur, a coach, and an author. She has a lot of titles. Let's welcome to the show, Kelly Resendez.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Just a little hot day out here in Northern California.
Oh no, I'm in the mountains in Pennsylvania. It's cooled down the last today. Yesterday was 90 and days before that were in the 90s as well, but it's cooled off today.
Yeah, it's definitely toasty out here.
All right. So welcome to the show. I'm excited to have you on. Let's just jump right into it.
Awesome.
Can you share your journey to becoming a leader and empowering women?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm going to definitely tell you it was probably from birth. I definitely had one of those personalities when you're playing house or whatnot. I had to be the boss or the teacher or anything. So I definitely was that natural born leader from an early age and really though did not harness it in terms of it being a career until after I left the mortgage industry. So went into executive leadership in 2011. And as I went on that journey, just started doing more outside of my role as an executive at Good Leap, which is a financial technology company. I also just really wanted to give back and contribute to other women. I believe wholeheartedly that female leadership is needed, just like male leadership is, but that it's an important part of making sure that we stay healthy and happy as a nation. And so I love helping women really just get to the next level of authenticity and their power and overcome anything that might be holding them back. So I would say it's definitely been a long journey in doing that. I got into personal growth and development about 20 years ago. And so it's just been that accumulation of knowledge and wisdom I've picked up along the way that I love sharing and helping other women with.
So what inspired you to co-found? Well, I guess you said what inspired you to co-found Go Abundance Women, and what does that mean starting that company for you?
Yeah. So I would tell you that it really came from a place of loneliness, to be honest. It came from a place of I was, super successful in business and in my health and other areas. But where I really felt there was lack was in that connection with like-minded women who were also seeking, to do big things in their life and always feeling like, people were like, "What? You're doing that?" instead of, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing. How can I help you?" And that's kind of what inspired me to go out there. Now, Go Abundance Men has been around forever. They've been a community of men that have done that. And so we partnered with them on creating the Go Abundance Women and just using some of their foundation. And it's a mastermind community. It's very much about peer mentorship and also just supporting women that are ambitious women that really want to scale their businesses. And so it was just my way of, number one, getting a lot of connection. When you hear that adage that it's lonely at the top, my next comment is it doesn't have to be, but you need to be really intentional about who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, it's very important. Even in the podcasting industry, it's important to network. It's who you connect with, is the relationships you build with that help you grow as a podcast. And I've been blessed to connect with some of the brightest and some of the most amazing podcasters, or people, even some of the stuff they've used to help improve podcasting. It's really helped me grow as a podcaster. It's really helped my podcast grow because now of the people that I get to connect with. Like early on in one of the hardest things for me at the beginning of podcasting was finding guests, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now there are now many of the platforms out there where connect me with the right guests for my show. Actually, we connected through Angel and
Jamie.
Jamie. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was amazing to connect to them, and I use a couple of other sources as well, and it's helped my podcast grow, and it's been able, and it's building those relationships with amazing people like that who who want to see you thrive and grow and are leading the way for us podcasters to find some amazing guests like yourself.
Yeah, and that's really truly the power of connection, right? We go so much farther faster together than we do trying to figure it out on our own. And yet, the path of entrepreneurship or podcasting or whatever that might be, you do feel isolated because you're working so hard and you've got your objectives and whatnot. Just waking up to this, idea that, man, if I just ask for help more, man, I can get so much farther. Like I really can. And that's a big thing that I help women, especially with, is being able to use our voices to share our purpose more and then ask for help. I need to connect with more like minded women who really want to take their life to the next level. And I try to integrate that into every conversation rather than feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't want to sell what I'm doing or whatnot. And that's really not the approach that we need to take. It is, how do I leverage the connections to be able to, get that next level connection that's really going to make a big difference in my life.
Actually, I've never thought about it, but my wife, who's a she just has a brain for business, but she, for some reason, I don't know, is because maybe the lack of like-minded women in the area that we live in.
Mhm.
But maybe that's something I can encourage her to really start seeking is more like-minded women because once she saw that I was into podcasting, she's like, all right, let's start your production company now.
Yeah.
Like she like her thing was, how can we make this a business now? Like
Yeah.
so that's her mindset. That's where her mindset goes. Is like,
I love it.
how do we make this a business? Like she's helped her brother start a mechanic shop. She's helped a few other people start cleaning businesses and all that. So she has a mind for business and helping people start up businesses. So, and I mean, like, why don't you just go into business for yourself? why
Yeah.
why work for someone else? And she is just, I don't know. I guess she's probably stuck on the fact that she'd rather make the secure money
Yeah.
at the
That
moment right
holds
now.
people back. And you know what? Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. There are a lot of advantages of working for someone else, but I'm all for creating ands in your life as well. I think that's a big possibility that people don't realize. Like you can do that and do it, but recognizing that we all have this balance between certainty and uncertainty. Like I've always been an uncertainty person. Like sign me up for the risk, sign me up for, my own contribution is going to directly influence the bottom line and what I'm going to get. But that's not for everyone. So you have to figure out where you are. 'Cause there's a lot of challenges that come with being an entrepreneur, right? It's that
Yep.
feeling like you've got to do everything on your own. Then how do you scale? How do you make sure that you have the right operating system, the right people? There's a lot that goes into it. However, I firmly believe that we need more female entrepreneurs out there because our success is great. I mean, it's absolutely great. And so investing in yourself and knowing that the resources that we have at our fingertips today, so different than what we had 20 years ago, right? And
Yeah.
so anything is possible. And that's truly, like your podcast is called Stuck in My Mind. That's where
Mhm.
people don't take an idea and put it into action because they
Yeah.
get stuck. And that's what I love to help people with is really just, all right, let's create the vision, some goals, and at least try something new so that you get those amazing feelings that
Mhm.
come from doing that.
And that's why I named it Stuck in My Mind, because people get stuck. People get stuck. And so if I could help bring people on to help them get unstuck,
Yep.
maybe someone might need to see this episode and they hear you speak and hear all the things you're saying, and it helps them get unstuck. And I've had those moments. I've had those messages from people like, hey, that episode was such and such person, and they'll go deep. You can really know when somebody really felt the episode because they'll
Yeah.
go into detail of the episode and everything about what we talk about. And they're like, thank you. I needed to hear that conversation. I needed to be a part of
Yeah.
that conversation. And that is what motivates me and drives me to continue to do what I do.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, you mentioned the word stuck. I want to define that because everyone looks at it different. So, like, if you've got a successful career and you're healthy and all these other things, but you're not waking up fired up about what you're doing and completely grateful throughout the day, and when you go to sleep, you're stuck. So many people are used to just living with stress and with chronic disappointment and just not feeling inspired about what they're doing. Yet they have a income or they have a bank account that might say they're doing well. I believe you're stuck. And so for anybody listening, like if you aren't in a place where literally you wake up and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I get to do this again. Like this is so exciting." Like try to do a little bit of self-reflection. Life's too short. It truly is. Like, why not create a life in which you feel like it's magical? You feel like you're blessed on a daily basis. And a lot of that doesn't mean you have to be an entrepreneur. It just means that you've got to be aligned with what really your purpose is on a long-term basis. And so I would just suggest anybody that's listening, there's a recipe to getting yourself to the next level. And unless you make a commitment to yourself that like, I will not live another day. I will not live another day just kind of doing the status quo. Like I've got to push myself and take some sort of action today to be able to get to the next level.
All right. So how do you define an abundance mindset, and why is it important
Yeah.
in your path, on your
Well,
journey?
here's what I'd say. You're going to find it right here. That's what I want to dig into. You know, if you want to find an abundance mindset, the first thing that I would tell you is that you got to understand what mindset is. It's not something you have, it's something you do. And so when you look at one of the greatest superpowers that you can develop in your life, it's your outlook. And that is what your mindset is. It's the way in which you experience reality. And we all have challenges. Trust me, I've had an abundance of challenges too, and difficult years or seasons or family situations or all of these other things, but the way in which I experience it is what my superpower is. And so your mindset and an abundance mindset is just that set of beliefs in which you filter things through. And so the biggest parts of the beliefs that I would tell you are important are that you are the creator. You have got to abandon blaming or being a victim for anything that you've gone through. Now, I know for people listening, you may have had a magnitude of trauma and challenges along your way, or you might just be somebody that self-suffers, which means you had a lot of opportunity, but you've sabotaged your own success. It doesn't matter where you are. You have to take radical responsibility that you've got to create the life in which you get to live. The second aspect of this abundance mindset, I would tell you, is that you got to believe in infinite possibilities. Like you have to believe no matter where you are right now, you can create again whatever you desire. And the way in which you move through challenges has to be opportunistic. It has to be like, oh, that's amazing. You know, for us, interest rates were at an all-time high in the last few years. And we still have to keep moving forward with innovation and opportunity as well. And so you've got to be able to endure those challenges is just a part of what builds your character, your success, and other aspects. So those are just a few parts of the belief system that you really need. But then what I would tell you beyond that is you've got to adopt daily practices. Like how every single day do you wake up and remind your brain what it needs to be doing? And so the most important part of the daily practice is recognizing you are not your thoughts. Just
So
because you have a thought, doesn't
okay.
mean that you've got to do anything about it. Like let some of these disempowering thoughts go that cause chaos in your life. So that's another big piece of it.
So what are some of these? What are some of these? Because you mentioned that self-sabotaging behaviors you
Yeah.
see, and how can they overcome them?
Yeah, what I would say when it comes to self-sabotage, we've got our little ones and our big ones. Like the little ones are things like procrastination, of just not being able, like procrastination is just, I don't have enough energy to take action towards something I desire, right? Or I need to do. Got to figure out a plan for that. You know, other aspects of procrastination are people pleasing or maybe I don't know how to set strong boundaries in my life. Those are all things that I would say you can create a plan around. Look at them just like you would teaching your 5-year-old how to ride a bike. It's like, okay, well, you keep falling down. What can you do different next time? Come up with I'm going to do something different plan for next time. But then there's the big ones. And I would say the biggest areas that I see, especially with people getting to the next level, is number one, they think they have to do it alone. They don't have an amazing community of people or a board of directors in their life that's really going to elevate them. So you've got to make sure that you put that in place. The second one is you stop developing your leadership skills. Like if you want to continuously get to the next level, you've got to be growing all the time. You need to put yourself in uncomfortable situations and push yourself to, becoming the best version of yourself every day. But those are, I would say, just the two big ones. And then the third one is really having that peer advisory group, that group of a core of 3 or 4 people that are going to be there to help you workshop and go through decisions, because we need to, I think we all have an intuitive knowing, but we've got a lot of scaffolding and we don't tend to trust ourselves enough, and we need people to take more risks to really get to the next level and speak up more. So those are the 3 big ways that I do see people, especially women, sabotage themselves.
So, excuse me. How do you balance your role as a mom, an executive, and an influencer?
Yeah, it's definitely, this is what I would say. I take the word balance out of my life and I really replace it with the word alignment. I want to be aligned with my purpose and my priorities. Those are the 2 most important things in my life. And so I remind myself every day when I look at my priorities, like, how do I put God first? It's in my morning ritual. How do I make sure that my physical and emotional well being are right there next? Do I have my time to work out? Do I do those other things on my calendar? Then it's my sweetheart, Kent, and my kids. How do I make sure I have enough energy for them? And then it's work and the other, aspects of my life. But what I really choose to be is just present wherever I am. I don't look at it as being I'm here 8 hours or I'm there. Like, I don't look at it as a quantity thing. I really look at it as more of a quality thing. Like, am I really doing what I love? And that's when I feel in alignment.
Okay. So yeah, it's you're not putting time on it. It's the stuff you're doing with the kid, like the quality of time you're spending with your kids and your husband.
Yeah.
What exactly are you doing? Are you going out? Are you going on vacation? Everything that matters.
Feeding them in ping pong. That's a
Yeah.
big fun one. My kids are a little older now. So they're 19 and 21 and they're both home from college. And last night I could just tell you my daughter just got home yesterday. So if I'm beaming, it's because I have both kids home for right now. But the 4 of us were playing ping pong and just being in the moment without my phone, without worrying about what's going on, and really just taking that time for them to know too. I just think we're in such a world where people's minds have been hijacked by technology or by Netflix or the conveniences of everyday life that we miss those opportunities to just be present and play and have fun. Like, we've got to make that a priority too.
So what strategy do you recommend for women looking to achieve both joy and success?
Yeah, the strategies I would say is number one, make a decision. Believe it's possible. So that's the first thing. You've got to believe you're the creator, and maybe you aren't at a place right now where stress is optional. I truly believe stress is a choice and I say no to it. I choose not to be stressed. And so I really, from a strategy standpoint, there's 2 big strategies that I really use to be able to maintain that level. The first one is, how do I manage emotional triggers? I kind of call it an emotional trigger management plan. I know my biggest triggers in my life, and I really try to make sure that I just stay in a place that I can respond and not react. And so that allows me to stay in joy. One of my big mantras, and my kids have heard it their entire life, is like, I own my joy. I am not giving my joy away to the external things that can happen very often. There's no such thing as perfect. I definitely can lose it every once in a while, but for the most part, it's just I own my joy. I'm going to shoulder shrug off and know, again, one of these major beliefs under abundance mindset is everything's always working out okay for me. Like I can remind myself of that pretty darn easily. And then the next one is really just having a thought management strategy, is knowing, like you said, stuck in my mind. Like if you can see it when you're stuck in your mind and know these are just my thoughts ruminating. That's what my brain's supposed to do. It's supposed to protect me from danger. You can take your power back and say, not today. Not today. I am not going to allow recycled thoughts to cause worry, doubt, fear, any of these lower level vibrations that get us off of, feeling joyful. And so having those two strategies is super helpful.
Can you talk about the key messages in your book, Big Voices?
Yeah. Well, those are two of them. Definitely that you've got to, I look at suffering as twofold. One is there's suffering, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone grew up in poverty. They've been a victim of some atrocious crime. And I'm not talking about that right now. That's a healing path that, may be lifelong or whatnot. But the types of things that I talk about in Big Voices are self-suffering, where you've created an environment or your brain has been out of balance and has really created an environment in which you are truly suffering, whether it's from anxiety or self-doubt or lack of confidence or, just worry, any of these other things. And so I give you a lot of strategies in the book to be able to create that new vision for how you want to feel in your life. Talk a lot about the mindset that's needed in order to push you through that, and then ways that you can overcome, overthinking and self-sabotage and some of these other things so that you can truly just experience joy in spite of anything that's going on in your life.
Okay. So how can a woman cultivate resilience in the face of these challenges?
Yeah, cultivating resilience, do a bunch of stuff that you don't know if you're going to be a success or not. Stop worrying about being perfect. Like failure is absolutely required. I would tell you, just as a parent, you can really see this with your kids too. Your job's not to stop them from getting through pain. Pain is what creates resilience. Tough times build us up. And so you've got to step out of certainty if you want to get to the next level. Now, if somebody just decides, I really just want to live a mediocre life, do it. Not for me to judge. But what I would say is that if you really want to create more resilience where you get knocked down and you get up again, go do some bigger things. Take a chance, do something new. This doesn't have to just happen in your career. It could be deciding to do something like running a half marathon or, playing something different, a new sport or whatever it might be. But resilience comes from just knowing that even when things don't go right, everything's always going to work out okay for you. I watched just a segment of a podcast yesterday where Drew Barrymore was talking to somebody, and she was talking to them about like getting back into love and how much fear she had in that moment. And a lot of times, just because our brains want to avoid it, that sometimes it just stops us from taking that next step. But you've got to force yourself into the unknown and force yourself to that next level so that you can create more resilience. And just falling back on that again, that idea that everything's going to work out okay. Even if it's not this person, it's going to work out okay. The reason why I'm saying that story is because, we think because she's a celebrity or whatnot, she might have it figured out. We all have the same type of brain. It does not want you to get hurt. And when you see that, it also doesn't want you to feel fantastic. It doesn't care. You've got to create the environment in which you feel fantastic in order to do so.
Yeah, no, we assume that these celebrities, they have all this money and all that. A lot of them, you've seen in the past, Robin Williams. You seen in the past, there's a lot of them that have issues that they haven't been able to solve those issues in life, and eventually tragedy happens.
Yeah.
So we look at it. Oh, we're here looking at it, and like we're looking at all the success, but we're not behind the scenes. We don't know what they're going through in their real
Yeah.
lives. We see them as a character on TV, but we don't really truly know how they're handling it because we're all human.
Absolutely. And so
It's-
we
Yeah.
have to remember that. And we also need to be in a place of like radical empathy as we move forward. One of the things we didn't dig into are like top ways that we can block abundance in our life. And one of the top ways is judgment. And so I really encourage people, and for all of you that are listening, like, live a judgment-free life. That includes your kids, your partner, your employees, everyone. Like, let people be as authentic as they choose to be so that you can attract more abundance into your life, because you will block it the more you start judging. And we never know what someone's going through.
Mhm. No, it's true. It really is true. You, it's hard. Even okay, so last year was one of the best years for my podcast growth. But personally,
Congrats. That's awesome.
thank you. But it was one of the roughest years personally
Yeah.
because my mom she suffered from dementia and Alzheimer's, and
Oh.
it really it started really affecting her. And then that came August hit, and she was no longer moving around. She had to be carried to the bathroom. It was leading towards the steps of her finally passing away in February,
Mm.
and but I didn't let it affect what I was doing with the podcast. Yes, it was hurting, and it was a struggle to see her go through what she was going through, but I didn't let it come out on the show because I knew what I have here, what I have what a lot of people tune into the show for. And I wanted them to see, like, listen, regardless of what I'm going through, and not many people knew what I was struggling.
Yeah.
I really kept it to myself. Only my personal friends and family really knew what was going on in my life. And but I was still consistent. Yes, once in a while I would have to cancel a show or something, but that's life. Things happen. Um, but it was one of the best years as far as growth. Some of
Yeah.
my best numbers, some of my best interviews, and have been happening the past year and a half. Even now, now. So it was like it was like I wanted to enjoy it more, but I just didn't know how.
Yeah. Well, it's a challenging one. I went through something similar. My awakening came because my mom got diagnosed with dementia at age 57. So this was 22 years ago. And so she's been gone now for, 13, going almost 13 years. And so that journey is, you do have to decide, like, I can let it define me and have a never-ending pity party, or I can use it as fuel for helping and impacting even more people's lives. And that's part of my mission. Is I truly believe that women are struggling with some of these, diseases of the mind and diseases of our hormonal systems because of stress and because of the nutrition that, is just normal in the world today, which we've got to take radical responsibility for our health and our well-being. And I look back, even when my mom had it, like, they didn't teach us how resilient the brain was back then. We didn't even know about neuroplasticity
Yeah.
back then, and that the brain can create new paths and other things. And so how I handled it then would be probably different than I handle it today. But like, you nailed it, that, we've got to keep moving. And it is how we experience those things. And so you can have joy and you can be going through a challenging situation simultaneously. And just know that, I'm sure you're really grateful for your mom and
Mhm.
and everything that she brought into your life, and just knowing that, I mean, hopefully you believe that you'll see her again.
Of
I just
course.
kind of see it. It's like, oh, I'm just going to be here for a minute and then I'll see my mom again in heaven. And so I'm sorry that you went through that.
Oh, it's been a long journey for me. I've if you I said so much to go on, but yeah, I've this life has prepared me for has prepared me for this time right here. But I'm just grateful for the time I got to spend with her.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
for me, I was grateful to be able to say that she was my mom,
Yeah.
and be able to see what true kindness and because
Mhm.
my mom's house was open to everyone. She
That's
fed
amazing.
everybody. Anybody who didn't have somewhere to stay, she made sure that they have her couch was open. She made sure that they had some place to stay. She was always giving.
Yeah, that's
So
amazing.
so to see that firsthand, and to see her raise 6 kids,
Mm.
and then she when she moved over from Puerto Rico to the United States, she brought the two youngest with her, and then she had me over here.
Yeah.
Brought the other three older a couple of years later. So it was she struggled, but she eventually had her family here, and she worked hard. She did a lot of things for us. She wanted a better life for us. She wanted a better life for the kids that she had and brought over from Puerto Rico, because over there education, it wasn't as back then, wasn't as it was here in the States, where it was so much more
Yeah,
opportunities.
absolutely. Well, you probably we've heard this, but she must be very proud looking down on you for all you're doing.
Yeah, I'm glad she got to see a little bit of what we was doing, of what I
Yeah.
started to do. But I wish she had really. Of course, I wish she had known what really I was doing,
Yeah.
and how much of an impact, and honestly, it was amazing. It was funny because until I started my podcast, I didn't know, like you mentioned, a purpose driven life.
Yeah.
I didn't know my purpose.
Yeah.
I had no clue what my purpose was. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then when I got behind the mic and I started interviewing people, and I started seeing the impact that I could have on one person's life,
Yeah.
that was like, this is what I want to do.
I
This is
love it.
I want to have this platform so that I can bring people on, and they can talk about their experiences in life, because everyone has a story. Everyone has a
Everyone.
story, yes,
Everyone.
and it's important that they have a platform to come out and share it, and hopefully someone can listen to it, and if we impact that person's life, more power to us.
I love it.
I love doing this. To me, this is so much fun, being able to have these conversations, and to just finally know, okay, what am I here for?
Yeah.
What is my purpose? Why am I here? Why? And when I discovered it was to help serve others and help uplift others, that's like, wow. Okay.
Yep. And that's where magic happens. And for the listeners listening, like there are a lot of people that don't have the clarity that you do today. And this is what I would say: start with how you want to feel, because you obviously wanted to feel fulfilled, right? You wanted to feel clarity. Just start with where you want to feel, and then just set some goals around it to be able to help you get there. And like you had to try new things, right?
Mhm.
Before you found it. A lot of us, I think, just thought like our purpose was just supposed to come and smack us and show us and all these other things. And like, it's so challenging to get there without really taking the chance on something and it being okay. Clarity coming from like, hey, I tried this and I'm clear I don't like it, right? Is just as powerful as I tried this and I love it. And now I feel fulfilled. So don't ever lose hope. For those of you that are like, I don't know what my purpose is, I hear that all the time. You could keep it as simple as my purpose is just to make other people happy,
Mhm.
right? It could be that simple to begin with. You may
Yeah.
not know how you're going to do it yet, but it will come. And when you're in abundance, you got to know like clarity doesn't just like, you know, come knocking, it like comes in with a force where like the next best person that you're going to meet is going to be right there in front of you saying, "Hey, you are on the right path and let me introduce you to this person or let me introduce you to that person."
Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, so how? Okay, so this topic that I've spoken with a few people and a couple of women. How can other women help support each other? It seems like there's so much
Mm.
fighting among women where they don't have each other's back, and I've had this discussion with women before. Um, why is that? Why is it that it seems that women don't want to look out for each other?
Yeah, well, I would say there are definitely women that don't, and there are definitely an abundance of women that
Women
do.
that do.
So, this is what I would say. Please don't, for anyone listening, make an assumption that it's always going to be this way. If we've been hurt by one person before, like we don't want to generalize the whole population. So, I'm
That's
all
what.
about let's not be a victim of what's happened before. Let's be the creators of what we want to see, which is women helping women, women helping men, men helping women and getting to this point. So the first thing that I would say is that we need to learn how to ask for help more articulately. Like we
Yeah.
need to tell one another what we need. And then I would say that the better promoters we are of other women, whether it's, me resharing my girlfriend's, my girlfriend Shafali just launched a podcast and sharing Dr. Shafali's podcast, just helping wherever you can. We are giving and it opens up this flow of receiving. And there's a couple other things that I would say. Don't ever put another woman down. Like when you're, that's judgment, and I would say that a lot of pain in this world comes from infidelity. That's another major way that women can help one another is to realize that, like, don't go there. Just don't go there. Be a good, decent person by doing the right thing. Be impeccable with your word. I love the book, the Four Agreements, and really just how you articulate what you're going to do. Like, just really do what you say and make that conscious effort to connect with other like-minded women that you are going to be in proximity to. I'm working with another woman at a competitor right now because she needed some help. I'm not just there is no competition in abundance. Right brain thinking is winning or losing. Left brain in our feminine is all about cooperation and collaboration. And so that would be the last thing that I would say. Learn about neuroscience. As a powerful female, when you understand how your brain works and how to harness the power of your feminine, it's endless. It's amazingly endless opportunities because connecting is our superpower. And doing that with other women is just something that you need to set the intention around. And that's why, communities like Go Abundance Women are there to help ambitious women continue to grow, continue to support one another and get to the next level.
Awesome. Kelly, thank you. You've been such a great, but now is the time where you get the solo screen and you get to plug away and let everybody know where they can find
Awesome.
you. Now it's plug away
Great.
time.
Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much. And, we didn't really get to dive deep into overcoming self-sabotage. So I've got a 3-part series for you that you can go check out at www.downloadthepod.com. So if you find yourself maybe at a plateau or feeling a little stuck and you want to get to the next level, it has got great actionable ways that you can overcome self-sabotage and just take your life to new heights. So I really look forward to seeing you at downloadthepod.com and check out Go Abundance Women anywhere on social media that you can find or on our website as well. And I look forward to connecting with you in the future. And thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for being a guest. I appreciate it. It was wonderful wonderful speaking to you.
Awesome. And have your wife connect with me. She
I
wants
will.
to
Oh,
get to
definitely I
that.
will.
Yeah, would love it.
I'll definitely have her connect with you. It's something I would love for her to really do. Like I said, I tell her all the time, like you're to me, you're a genius. Like you know
Yeah.
how like
Hey, I love it. Yeah,
she
that's
has like
great.
she has so much going for her that I'm like she's she prepares taxes. She's got to get it back, but she's a notary public. She's helped people, and this is her wanting to learn these things. She's because she was born in the Dominican Republic, and she moved over here when she was a young girl, and she became a citizen and everything, and so she wants to show up. She took the course to try to help other people become legal citizens the right
Love
way,
it.
and so she does a lot, man. She works hard. She's very intelligent. I'm blessed to be able to say she's my wife.
Oh, that's
But
beautiful.
but yes, she does a
Yeah.
lot, and
Well, you could
I
have a
really.
training school for men on how they should talk about their wives for sure. I love it.
Oh no, but I will definitely link her up with you and have her check out those websites. But
Sounds
thank you
great.
so much. But don't leave just yet. Let me close out the show and uh, talk to you a little bit off air. And I
Sounds
would love
great.
to have you back on. Definitely would love
Would
to have you
love
back
it.
on.
Love it. Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone.
All right, everyone. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Corrado, I'll see you there. Appreciate it, brother. Mickey, how you doing? Snowman, thank you for leaving a comment. Everybody who's tuned in, greatly appreciate it. Bye, Corrado. You're probably at work right now anyway. So we should be watching this. Tune into the replay. Greatly appreciate everyone. I am blessed to have you all tune in and leave comments and even while you're at work, Corrado, chiming in. But as always, big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Big shout out to the boss lady. Love you and appreciate you. And as always, big shout out to all the essential workers out there, all the great listeners out there. Keep tuning in, keep supporting, and have a great night. Peace out.